What's up? This is Dat Nerdy Spoons from the IWC, and this is the wrestling recap from March 3rd, 2012. First up, I gotta say this was a very, very exciting Raw. There was not a whole lot of wrestling, but they got a lot of road work for the future, which is Wrestlemania 28. One of the biggest stories that came out of this edition of Raw was the Rock Cena work shoot promo. Now, there's been a lot of people on both sides of the argument for the Rock Cena thing, and I'm just going to give my 2 cents about the whole situation. The Rock is good for the wrestling business. The Rock is good for the wrestling fans. I do not see how many people in the IWC, the Internet Wrestling community, the community that I love and respect, and that I call myself a proud member of, I don't see why we're the ones raging so much that The Rock's going to be at WrestleMania. The biggest argument I see is that they say The Rock is taking somebody's spot. There is no one the WWE has built to the level that would be even close to what The Rock can bring to WrestleMania. I mean, literally, there's only 3 people who maybe come close. Undertaker, Triple H, and Randy Orton are the only people you could put against John Cena and even hold a candle to the level of merchandise, level of popularity, the level of press, the level of attention that you're going to get against The Rock. I mean, literally, just look at the current WWE product. I know right now, today, maybe The Rock does not have what people are concerned instant returns, but that's because maybe there's a lot of people who haven't been watching wrestling and maybe they don't necessarily know The Rock's going to be on Raw. Has anyone ever considered that? I mean, we watch wrestling every week regardless of what's going on in our lives. There are people who will only watch wrestling if they know The Rock's coming on, and if they don't watch wrestling programming, I mean, it's not like WWE's buying ad space on CSI, on CBS to say, hey, The Rock's on USA. That's not what's happening. If you're not in the know, if you're not interested in the wrestling community, wrestling programming, wrestling websites, you would have no idea that The Rock is going to be on. So the ratings argument doesn't work. The taking somebody's spot argument doesn't work. None of the major arguments that members of the IWC are saying against The Rock being at WrestleMania, they just do not work. I am one of the people who, I'm going to say this, I am so happy that The Rock is back. I am so happy that it's The Rock and Cena. This is exactly what I want to see. I want to see, can the Attitude Era and this new PG bullshit that Vince McMahon created, which one is better? Now, in my mind, I know that's absolutely nothing of what this match represents. This match represents one thing to Vince McMahon, and that is a huge payday to fund his new WWE network, which I'm going to get to in a minute because apparently they're having issues with that. But I mean, that is all Vince McMahon. And you know what? So what? So what? If everybody was just in it for the money, fine. Because you know what? At the end of the day, I'm going to be extremely entertained by the product. So their personal motivations in no way bother me. Hell, I don't care if The Rock is there to make a huge paycheck. As long as The Rock is entertaining, raises the people's eyebrow, and drops the people's elbow on John Cena's monkey ass, I don't really mind. And on top of that, he wasn't there. I don't get that argument either, because if you look at it, The Rock was there. He was there for 7 years. He did everything he needed to do, and then somebody said, hey, I'll pay you more money to do something else. Who among us would not do that? The Rock's making $10 million a movie, not $10 million a year. That's a lot of cheddar cheese, people. I'm just saying. I mean, so none of those arguments are even valid. The only thing that matters to me is it going to be a good wrestling match? Yes. And the other thing that matters to me, is it going to be entertaining? Yes. Those two yeses outweigh any of the other possible maybe issues behind the scenes. Okay? Just people need to shut up, get on board with this, and enjoy the freaking ride. Okay? I mean, enjoy it. I mean, there's so many other things that I can say about that, but it's already been said. I mean, I'm chiming in super late as usual. Because, you know, I got things to do during the week. I guess I should have raged out of control on Monday night when I first started hearing this mess. But you know what? I had other things I had to do. And so I'm shooting this now like super late anyway. But that's because, again, life got in the way of my very, very, very entertaining side project, which this is. But anyway, I'm going to stop talking about this. But, I mean, literally, everybody, we need to get on board with this. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be great. This reminds me of when I first started watching wrestling. I mean, The Rock was a huge part of the reason why I started writing. I mean, it wasn't as much the Monday Night Wars and WCW. I saw all that stuff afterwards. I started watching wrestling programming in 1999 when The Rock and Steve Austin were cussing at each other, throwing beer, and flicking each other off. That entertained me. That and Jerry Springer, but you know, that was a long time ago. And I've been a wrestling fan ever since, so clearly it did something right. Anyway, the big thing is everyone's saying that John Cena won that round. Well, people, backstage reports are in. Yeah, John Cena was supposed to win that round. Apparently, The Rock gave Cena some talking points, and that was completely a work shoot, okay? The Rock is now and forever will be on top of his promo game, so we don't have to worry about that at all. So, I mean, all you people are like, oh my god, The Rock got owned. Yeah, well, but The Rock showed his playbook to the other team. That's all I'm going to put about that. The other thing that really came out of Monday Night Raw was apparently the Raw GMs and the SmackDown GM, they're going to be switching roles. So Teddy Long will be running Monday Night Raw on Monday, and John Laurinaitis will be running SmackDown. And a couple of interesting points. Apparently, the Great Khali is going to do a squash on David Otunga, and Kane's supposed to destroy Oksana. So it's going to be a pretty interesting couple of days, and I'm really looking forward to that. The other huge WWE news that's actually bad news, apparently Wade Barrett's injury was much more severe than they thought. Looks like he's going to be out 3 to 4 months. And it's also coming out that they're going to have to cancel Money in the Bank for this, because it looks like WWE was planning on Wade Barrett winning Money in the Bank, which wow. I mean, talk about crappy timing, but I mean, it makes sense the way that they've been positioning Wade Barrett as a main event player, that they'd be giving him the briefcase. But I mean, that would have been 2 straight former Nexus members, Money in the Bank ladder match winners and Money in the Bank briefcase holders, and I'd say that's pretty good. Wade Barrett and Daniel Bryan were probably the only guys that came out of Nexus that are still working full time for the WWE right now. So yeah, and they actually fired Daniel Bryan already. So I mean, that's pretty interesting. But you know what? Hey, good for them. And I'm really, really sad to see Money in the Bank go. That is one of my favorite matches, and that's still one of my favorite pay-per-views. And I'll be looking forward to it sometime this summer. On to TNA. I do not like TNA's use of the Jesse Sorensen. I'm going to call it a tragedy, although it could have been a much more greater tragedy. Anyone getting injured in the act of performing, it's always a tragedy, and TNA is just milking it for all it's worth. And I got to say, if Jesse Sorensen was coming back this summer, I would agree with it. But Jesse Sorensen's not coming back for at least 14 months. So they're now just using it for publicity, and they're making Zema Ion like the biggest prick in wrestling. I mean, he shows no remorse, no caring. He's like, hey, I walked away from the match, so I win. And you know, that's just ridiculous. But on Impact, I hate to say this, the one good thing they do have going for them, and this is something that I'm personally happy about, is apparently they are refocusing a lot of airtime on the Knockouts. Apparently, they've been looking at the ratings recently and finding out that they're #1 rated segment, so having the girls fight. And so I hope this leads to a little bit more booking choices, like this past edition of Impact Wrestling. We had ODB and Eric Young. Well, actually, it was ODB versus Madison Rayne, but Madison Rayne brought Gail Kim with her, and ODB brought Eric Young. Every time I think about it, man, what a goofy guy. And he houses what's this? Well, that's 3, and then they had a Knockouts tag team match, which was also entertaining as heck. I mean, I do like the Knockouts. I think that they're a talented bunch, and they're really underutilized in Impact Wrestling. But hey, they've got to work. They got to work out a lot of that Vince Russo garbage out of the storyline and get back to some real interesting, well-written, coherent, in-line, thought-provoking storylines to get that company where it needs to be. Anyway, that's pretty much all I got this week. Don't forget to, if you like the show, maybe leave a comment, subscribe, that kind of stuff. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Dat30Spoons, at Dat30Spoons. Links in the description. Don't forget to check out my other show, Midcard for Life. Also link in the description. My partner in crime at Midcard for Life like to shoot videos at 3 in the morning, so I'm not always there, but I'm there a few times, so don't forget to check that out. This has been Dat30Spoons from the IWC, signing off.